So, when relocating to another city, there's a question that is constantly asked, and that is, wherever I relocate to, are there any jobs? And I understand that question 100%, because wherever you go, you're gonna have to pay rent, you're gonna have to pay, your bills. So you're gonna need a job. If you're not an entrepreneur, if you don't have a business of your own, you're gonna need a job in order to assist you with your bills. That plain and simple. There's nothing complicated about it. And here in the state of North Carolina, I would recommend cities such as Raleigh, Durham, and Charlotte. Those three. I don't know anything outside of those three cities. I've lived in Greensboro. I didn't work when I was in Greensboro. I pretty much hustled. I'm just gonna be real with you. At that time, I sold bootleg movies. So I don't know anything about, I did have one job. I worked at TTA. It was this marketing job. I worked there for like 2 months. So can I kind of rate it a certain? I can't, because it's been years since I've lived in Greensboro. I know when I lived in Greensboro and I got that job from someone else. Somebody, put me on. Other than that, it wasn't like I looked in the newspaper. I didn't go through the trials and tribulations of actually finding a job. So I don't know how difficult or how easy it is to find a job in Greensboro right now. But what I do know and what I can tell you about is, my experience living in Raleigh, Durham, and Charlotte. And I know when I lived in Durham, it wasn't that difficult to get a job. It really wasn't. A lot of the southern states, they have, for all you northerners, they have a lot of temp jobs. So these temp jobs, the southern states are big on temporary jobs. It's just that plain and simple. So it's easy to go to a place like Manpower or, another temporary service and walk in the door, fill out an application, and the next day they're gonna call you for an assignment. It may last 90 days, it may last 6 months or whatever, but whenever that assignment is over, they're gonna have another job lined up for you. Now I'm just telling you my experience when I was working. Now if you have a college degree, and a career, that's something totally different. Like, especially if you into, the health industry, Durham is perfect for you. Durham is known as, or called, the city of medicine. Duke Hospital is there. And I know if you all are into healthcare, in the health industry, you know about Duke Hospital. That plain and simple. So there's jobs in the Research Triangle Park. You have over 200 corporations that's there, such as Pfizer, AT&T, IBM, and the list goes on. So there's a surplus of jobs in that area. And a dude sent me an article that Durham will be one of the fastest cities that's gonna bounce back from this COVID-19 situation. So if you were to live in, Durham or Raleigh, you're gonna get those jobs, like boom, just like that. But then you have to look at you got the pros, but then you have to look at the cons. If you're coming from a bigger city, such as your New York or Chicago, or your Los Angeles, you have to be prepared to live in a place where, like in Durham, there's roughly about 400,000 people. In Raleigh, there's a little over 500,000. It's a way smaller city than your New York or your Los Angeles, or your Chicago. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, you're gonna have to somehow, if you're ready for it, you're gonna have to mentally be prepared. If you're not, you're gonna have to mentally be prepared that the jobs are gonna be good. The pay is gonna be good. The buying the houses are cheaper. Everything is gonna be good, but then you're gonna have to live in a place like a Raleigh and a Durham and Charlotte, that's where it's smaller. The population is smaller. And New York, let's compare to New York to a Charlotte, or Charlotte to New York. Of course, it's way more less things to do in Charlotte than there is to do in New York. So this is what you're gonna have to face when you're moving into these cities. It's gonna have its pros and it's gonna have its cons. You know, here in Charlotte, now Charlotte is way bigger than, I would say Charlotte is the size of Raleigh and Durham put together. You know, if you're into banking, we have, you know, two of the biggest banks in America. Their headquarters are located here, Wells Fargo and Bank of America. So if you're into banking, hey, you got it. And then they have different corporations and their headquarters are here, such as like Home Depot, and the list goes on. As far as getting a job here, I've been told that it's hard to get a job here, but then other people, I've been told it's easy to get a job here. I just think personally, we're living in 2020, and we have to think realistically. And on a realistic level, it's good to have a job, but it's also better to have a job and a hustle. And that hustle could be anything. You know, you could be cutting grass on the side. You know, you could be fixing houses. And in the climate that we're in, I just think that it's best that you have something to fall back on outside of a job. You understand? So my thing is, and that's no matter where you're at, whether you're in New York. Well, in New York, you probably gotta have 5 or 6 jobs. I mean, but that's the truth though. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have 5, 6, 7, 8 jobs to work. I mean, excuse me, to live in New York. You understand? But I will say this, and this may be a deal breaker for you all Northerners. I will say this, that I don't know. I haven't been in a work field like that. But from what I've known, from my experience, there are no unions in the South. Excuse me. There are no unions in the South. None. So pretty much you on your own with that. But at the end of the day, if that's not a deal breaker, if that's something that you could deal with, you're gonna, here in the state of North Carolina, I don't know anywhere else, but I just know that like here in especially your Research Triangle Park area, you know, what they call a triad, which consists of cities such as Chapel Hill, Durham, and Raleigh, you're gonna get a job. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie, hands down, you're gonna get a job. It's that plain and simple. Here in Charlotte, it's a little different. You know, we don't have no triad or nothing like that. You know, we're surrounded around small cities, or I don't even want to call them cities. I don't know, or counties, or I don't know. But you know, places like Concord, Gastonia, you got Rock Hill, Mint Hill, Indian Land, Pineville, Matthews. You know, we don't have that. So we basically have like, you know, it's pretty much a bank. Like I can't sugarcoat it. This is a banking city. If you are working for Wells Fargo or Bank of America, you good. Other than that, I mean, do they have factory jobs or, you know, like regular jobs? Yeah. But then, like I said before, it's like I've heard some people say that it's difficult to look for a job, and then I've heard other people say that it's easy to look for a job. I'm gonna go back on what I said and reiterate it. If you can get you a job, have you a side hustle. Especially in a situation like this. If we haven't learned anything when it boils down to COVID-19, the coronavirus, we should have learned this one thing. Nothing's guaranteed, because we're always taught throughout life that you gotta get stability, you gotta be stable. You know, women tell you that all the time. I need a man with stability. But we know, based on this pandemic, that there's no such thing as stability. That one day your life can be your life can be in a complete bliss. That it can be profound. You're doing everything that you want to do in life. You're meeting your goals. And then the next day, this pandemic hit and it obliterates your life. I had plans. I had money saved. And I can tell you my savings have been depleted. Like, I gotta put money back in my savings. I'm not starving. I don't have an eviction notice on my door. But at the same time, the coronavirus did cost me some money. Period. So what we need to learn is, hey, you get you a job, but you have a side hustle. That's what we need to learn. That plain and simple. We're entering into a new world. And this is the reason why they talk about this new world order. In order to bring about order in the new world, we have to have a new world order. And I'm not. Because I know some of y'all are going to twist my words and say, oh, this guy is an Illuminati and this and that and so forth. I'm not with the new world order like that. But at the same time, I'm giving it to you raw. That we're entering into a new world where we're going into a cashless society. Most jobs will be jobs that essential jobs will be gone in the near future. You know, robots will be doing those type of jobs, like delivering pizza, dropping off packages. You'll have drones dropping off packages, flipping burgers. You know, you have a kiosk in Wendy's and certain McDonald's where you just go up to the kiosk and you do. This is what I want. Extra mayonnaise, 2 hamburgers, cheese, this, that, so forth. Boom, it comes up on the screen. You pay right there, and somebody will come up to you and say, Jeffrey, if your name is Jeffrey, and you'll walk up there and you get your meal. That plain and simple. No more cashiers. So the jobs that computers can't do for now, that humans can do, you know, will be done online. The whole walking into a warehouse and you're a telemarketer and it's 500 of y'all in one room, that's gonna be gone. That's gonna be gone. So you're gonna have to decide what you wanna do, if you're gonna change careers and, you know, or if you wanna just stay where you're at because you don't wanna take a risk of losing everything to move somewhere that you don't know if it's guaranteed or not. These are the things that you need to think about. Research Triangle Park is not a place that you can go to and you don't have a college degree and you just a regular warehouse worker and you think you're gonna come up. That's not gonna happen. It's not. Now, if you don't have a college degree and you have a high school diploma and you just want to get a regular job, you know, and you'll be able to pay your bills with it. Just depends on, you know, how you get down. Like, do you club? Do you buy clothes? Or, you know, what's your lifestyle? If your lifestyle is cheap, you like living in the hood. Listen. I'm just being real. You like living in the hood, you know, and living in the hood, 3-bedroom house in Raleigh or Durham, you probably paying about $800. If you don't have a certain type of, if you don't have a certain type of diet, you know, you just eat pork, beef, you would eat whatever. You eat McDonald's or whatever, then working in a warehouse that job is probably good for you. It's gonna pay your bills. It's gonna allow you to go to McDonald's. It's gonna allow you to pay your rent. But if you got taste and you got class, and I'm not trying to be funny, I'm just being real. If you like the upscale life, that warehouse job is not gonna get you that. The warehouse job is gonna have you driving a neon Dodge, 2003. It's being real. But if you wanna like step up the game and you living in Charlotte, you want to live in Ballantyne, South Park, these prominent areas, Huntersville, you're gonna have to have a college degree. Queens Road, Providence, you're gonna have a college degree for that. You're gonna have to have a career. You're gonna have to have a career that gives you 6 digits, that pays you 6 digits. That plain and simple. Now, if you want to live a decent life like how I live, you know, like kind of like middle class or whatever have you, hey, you know what I do? I got several different hustles, and it works. It works. I've managed, and I continue to manage. Just depends on what caliber of person you are. Other than that, to answer your questions without being long-winded, there are jobs here. I recommend the Raleigh Durham, the Triad area, Raleigh Durham, Chapel Hill, Research Triangle Park, and I recommend Charlotte. Just depends on, you know, which one you want to rock and roll with. Other than that, I hope I've, you know, helped you all somewhat. I want you to like, I want you to comment. I definitely want you to share the video and subscribe if you haven't already.